Hi, and welcome to Lessons on Demand. This is Scott Schilling, and I'll be your trainer for this session today. Now, today we're going to look at essential tools to attract and retain customers. As my new book is titled, Without Customers, You Got Nothing. So it's really important that we not only obtain customers, but that we retain customers. One of the consulting opportunities I had a number of years ago, we looked at this company's business, and man, they were bringing in new customer after new customer after new customer. It wasn't that they couldn't acquire customers. What was happening is they were going out the back door just as fast as they were coming in the front door. So not only do we want to look at bringing in a better quality customer over an extended period of time, but we want to make sure that we serve those that we already have. We stay in touch with them. We nurture those relationships, and we build those into far better relationships. So again, these are some of the essential tools to attract and retain customers in this day and age. We obviously live in a world full of technology these days, and there's so many tools available. I can't possibly touch on every version of every tool that's available here today, but what I will do is touch on the ones that I personally use, and again, know that there's probably others. I'm sure I'll mention them throughout this training. But these are the ones that I've come down to use, and the reason is I've vetted these products. I've used them myself, and they do a really nice job. They are more than likely not the only offering in the category, but there's a world full of technology, and there are certain reasons why some have better attributes than others. We all share the same 86,400 seconds in a day, and it's amazing how some people can seem to stretch that day and get so much more out of it than others. Well, I'm going to suggest to you the reason is that they probably have figured out how to gain some efficiency along the way. They don't double or triple handle situations, or they have systems in place that allow for personalization to the greatest extent possible and automation where possible. So the real key is we want to gain that efficiency, and we want to also expand our ability and our reach. We want to be able to touch more people more often. That's what it really comes down to. Again, we live in this immediate gratification, fast-paced, me society. Well, people like to be touched. They like to be heard from. They like to hear from you. They like to stay in contact with their vendors and their suppliers. So what I want to share with you is some tools that I use to stay out ahead of it to the very best possible. Do I do it perfectly? No, of course not. I don't know that anybody does, but the point is we're constantly looking to improve the way that we stay in touch with people, work our customer support, all those kinds of things. Now, there's some critical areas to consider. We want to automate as much as possible all of these areas. Marketing is one of them. Then, of course, the sales process itself. Our communications and our delivery of our programs. As an example, you're experiencing this program through one of the delivery methods. That's a technology delivery method. Also the communication, we're going to look at those. And then relationship building. Now, these aren't the only areas when it comes to doing business and staying in business, but these are kind of the key areas. Obviously, we have to market our message. We have to get out there and share our message with folks. We then have to convert those messages into bottom line revenue, into sales of some sort. Now understand that if you're enrolling people into a charity or into a vision of supporting some philanthropic cause, ultimately that's still a sale. It's the exchange of a product, good, or service for an amount of money or its equivalent. The heart-centered selling definition is obviously education through communication without manipulation. So it's really an educational process. We need to share education. We need to find out what people are looking for. We need to provide them the benefits they're looking for. We also need to develop relationships. Relationship building is an ongoing process. It's really a shame that when you create a very strong relationship, that if you don't keep it nurtured and keep on top of it, it tends to dwindle a little bit. Well, you can typically reclaim those and things like that, but it's better off to not lose it in the first place. You meet for the first time, you start growing that relationship. Hopefully from that point forward, you nurture it and continue it continue it going in the right direction. Some of the things we're going to look at, website or websites. In this day and age, if you don't have a presence on the internet, you're really missing something. People's best friend these days is called Google. That's their Encyclopedia Britannica. At the touch of a button, we can type in google.com, boom, put in what we're looking for, ask it any question, and we're going to have millions of opportunities to sort through to find the answer to our question. Well, similarly, no matter what you do or what business you're in, there's a certain credibility factor in having a website. Now, do you have to have a 100-page website that provides every piece of information in the world? No. But you do have to have the essentials. They have to be able to understand who you are, what your organization is all about, what you stand for, some of those things, and then some contact information so they can, in fact, get a hold of you. So we're going to talk about websites. Other key areas that we need to consider are merchant accounts. We have to have the ability to transact business. And typically this day and age, that's going to come through something like PayPal, or it's going to come through a merchant account that allows us to handle credit cards. And I'm going to show you a couple of those things. PayPal is very simply, you go to paypal.com and set that up, so we'll talk about that. And then we also have to have support systems in place. Those support systems are going to help us with our communication. They're going to help you with your delivery of support material, all those different things. That's exactly what they are. They are support systems. And then the one that I think is really important is some kind of consistent touch program. Whether that be a birthday card, a thank you card, dropping them an email. There's a variety of different ways of doing it. Again, we're going to look at some of the things that I've put into place. And I'm constantly exploring new and better ways to stay in touch with people and to let them know I care. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It's an old axiom, and you know what? It's absolutely the truth. If people don't feel loved, they don't feel loved. I mean, it's just that simple. You got to make sure that they feel a benefit coming from you. Now, what you see on the screen here is basically two different websites of mine. Now, I'm going to explain why I have multiple websites. You're going to see far more than this as we go along. The one on the left is scottschilling.com. Scottschilling.com is my speaking, training, coaching website. It's basically how you would retain me to do a speaking event or things like that. It does have my products on it. It has opportunities for people, as you can see, to get a free sales course just by tapping on it. So again, the one on the left is scottschilling.com. That's really the hub of the activity that goes on around my training organization and my speaking organization. The one you see on the right is exactly what it says on top, scottschillingrecommends.com. Now, the reason for this is quite simple. I'm very fortunate to have some very cool friends and mentors and folks who have invested in me along the way, and I want to share that same education with other people. Similarly, those mentors, those friends have products, and those products are darn good products. They have training sessions. They have seminars that they do. They have a variety of different things. They have books. Well, again, because of the quality of the person, because of the relationship I have with them, I want to help them get that information out into the world. And then still there's one more section of that site, which is potentials. Now that could come through affiliate relationships. It could come through various business opportunities, a variety of different things. And understand what they're all there for is to share the people, products, and potentials of my friends that I have vetted. It's a super affiliate site. It's another way to create affiliations so that I can help serve my friends, and ultimately my friends can in turn help serve me. It's about us lifting each other up. So while the site on the left, scottschilling.com, really represents my speaking, my training, things like that, Scott Schilling recommends, although you can find out about my speaking and my products and things like that, is really more about my friends' products, my friends' potentials, my friends' courses, things like that. Now, what I can tell you is I don't have anything that I represent on that site that I don't believe in myself, more than likely that I don't use myself, that I haven't really vetted and understand who it's from, we're in alignment, things like that. Now, what's the reason for that? Well, it's really quite simple. I want to make sure that I only recommend those who I know are going to take care of my customers, my friends, the people that I know. I don't want to represent anything that is not of great quality or going to do some great things for the people who take advantage of it. So again, as you see, two different kinds of sites, and now we'll go back in and look at some other sites, but all the other sites are ultimately tied to scottschilling.com. So let's take a look at a couple other sites. Now, this is what you call landing page sites. And basically, I've got a couple set up for my two latest books. One is withoutcustomersyouGotNothing.com. The other one is ifthey'renotInthepews.com. These represent two books. Now, if you notice, they share a similar template, because what I want to do is create a family look in my websites, but I want to offer products and extend the reach of the product. If somebody searches for the name of the book, Without Customers You Got Nothing, they'll see this through Google. Similarly with the other book, If They're Not in the Pews. Now, this is a repurposing of my business book to help grow ministries. It's something I felt called to do. It's an outreach from that side. So basically what happens is these are landing pages that are ultimately tied to scottschilling.com. Now, the benefit of that is very simple. I now create greater breadth, but ultimately, from a Google tracking standpoint, this is still coming to scottschilling.com. Even though without customers you got nothing.com, and if they're not in the pews.com are separate URLs, they are triggered through scottschilling.com, and ultimately what it does is helps me with my Google rankings with that site. You're going to see more of this as we go along. The reason it's done, again, is to give more searchable opportunities to drive people. This is what I say. These are essential tools. You got to kind of create an opportunity for people to find you in a broad fashion. This is a great feature to the web platform that I use. Some great people out of Canada that I use. Now, I use a different provider for my Scott Schilling Recommend sites, and there's reason for that. Again, I love both folks. They do things a little bit differently, and the reason I have multiple sources is, again, to have greater breadth as we go along. Now, these sites are also tied into scottschilling.com. The one on the left is talkingwithgiants.com, which when I came with my first book, Talking with Giants, I created this site, and now we have tied it in as a landing page site, similar to gain the Google rankings for scottschilling.com, and yet it's a representation should somebody happen to look up that particular book title. That information on that site is particular to that book. Now, you can go to scottschilling.com and get that book as well, but there's not as much detail. When we set this, because this was the first fully written by me book, the fully functioning book by me as an author, I set up an entire website dedicated to this book from that side. On the right, you see another one of those templated landing pages, and this is for the speakercircle.com. The Speaker Circle is a mastermind group that I've put together to take speakers who want to become better at either actual platform speaking or learning how to monetize the speaking industry, whatever. And what I've done is I've created a mastermind group right here in Dallas. Now, we're also going to take this around the country to various markets. But these are very select. These are 14-person maximum. The reason they're done that way is to ensure that everybody in that group gets the information. Once again, the speaker circle now is an independent offering that helps drive traffic through scottschilling.com. Now, this is another one that is really taking off. A good friend of mine, Casey Eberhardt, created a product that allows you to automate your social media posts on Facebook. And so I have automatedsocialmediaposts.com, and that's the site on the left. Now, this is an essential tool, and I want to talk about this because what it allows you to do is pre-plan your Facebook posts. That I actually have some posts planned through December 31st of 2012, effective today. What that means is I can gain efficiency. I can keep sending out messages. I can keep sending out information. And over time, as that continues to build, I will have now more representation throughout the day. You might see a post at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. In fact, as I first started doing this, my lovely wife Peggy said, "What are you doing? Are you on Facebook all day long?" No, but it looks like I am, because I can program a post to post at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever I want to do throughout the day. Now, this is what it looks like. What's really exciting about this technology, and if you're interested in this, I suggest you go to automatedsocialmediaposts.com. But this is what those posts actually look like on Facebook. You see, I'm posting this out of my personal account, Scott Schilling. I was at a speaking event a while back, and one of my good friends, Tim Davis, said, "Hey, you know what? I saw the postings you're making. You're posting Zig Ziglar quotes or Churchill quotes, and you're putting a lot of good stuff out there. But you know what? They got enough customers. Why don't you create your own?" Hey, what a brilliant idea. You know what? We all have our little spurts of brilliance. And whether you do it every day or once a week or once a month, they're yours. Things that are attributed to you. So with Tim's encouragement, what I started doing is started actually creating my own quotes and creating my own series of information. What that does is help to brand me. Well, what automated social media posts does is it actually allows me to brand those posts. If you see in that post there, you, me, we all have brilliance within us. The difference comes in teaming it with the desire to release it. Go for it. Well, what you see below that is the little SS bug. That's my logo. So I have now branded that post. And the other thing you see is it says that it has been posted through scottschillingrecommends.com. Well, that is also a hot link. So one of the beauties of using this technology is not only that you can plan all these posts and you can plan wisdom, but you can also do it in a branding fashion so that you, again, it's all about being known over time out there. You know, that you're known and you're tied to the quality messaging, things like that. The one down below is a tip that comes out of my product, 90-second sales tips. And it's a tip to get and keep more business. It's one of the tips that says, dress for success. First impressions are priceless. For more detail, go to www.90secondsalestips.com. Now, what's interesting, when I started using this technology, I started immediately, the very first day, getting unique visitors to my website. How did I know that? Because they came off of that link. So the point is, do this tactfully, do it right. It's a really great tool that allows you to get on top of it, or have a virtual assistant or an assistant plan this part of your work. You can certainly write the information so that it's your words, it feels like you. But then you can have somebody else do the posting or schedule the posting. It's one of those great tools for expanding your opportunities going forward. If you need any information on that, please make sure you reach out to me. Second critical area we want to consider is merchant accounts. You've got to be able to take credit cards or payment of some sort. I don't have a screen capture of PayPal, but it's really simple. Your PayPal account can be set up by simply going to paypal.com, and you can establish either a personal or a business account for not only receiving money but for paying bills as well. Now, what's nice about this is it's got a whole merchant account system in it. It makes it very easy. You can start making money off what you have. You can start to monetize where you are immediately. So PayPal is a great opportunity. This happens to be the screen capture. If you were to go to scottschilling.com and you had a desire to purchase without customers, you got nothing. This is basically the checkout sequence. And what this is tied straight into a merchant account. You would sit and process all this information. It is automatically processed through authorize.net. There is a gateway, and it will see whether the credit card is good or not good. It'll approve it or decline it. It'll happen immediately. Now, the beauty is at the end of each day, that account reconciles, and ultimately the money is placed into your business bank account. It's a really nice thing to have. Obviously, you have to have merchant accounts if you want to do these transactions. If you want to start out small, you might start with just PayPal. Then you might look at authorize.net and some of these other gateways from that side. Now, one of the latest things that I've gone to, and this has really become handy at speaking events, as an example. I now have my new book. I have a series of new books, and I have other products to offer. What you can actually do is there is a company, and it is Square.com. What you see there is a Square. It's actually a credit card processor. It's a credit card scanner for smartphones. Now, that doesn't happen to be my phone. I took that from the Square website. But it gives you a visual representation. You basically say, hey, I've got a book in here at this price, or I do this, or I do that. And all you do is swipe the card. It captures it immediately. Now, it runs off a standard discount rate, and it's a pretty good rate. So let's just say you don't have enough business to really have a merchant account tied to your website. You can always use Square as you're starting out. These are some of these essential tools. Now, what's cool about this is it literally is about a 1 by 1 inch square, fits into your pocket. You always have your smartphone with you anyway. So all of a sudden now you can create a retail transaction and be paid for it on the spot. I was just thinking about a situation. I was at a speaking event not too long ago. I didn't happen to have my Square because I wasn't really thinking about selling a book. I only took one book. More because I was going to show somebody the book than try to sell the book. And as I showed one friend the book, somebody else who was there asked if in fact they could buy the book. Well, trying to facilitate that, I said absolutely. I wasn't really intending on doing that, but if you'd like it, sure. He said, well, I don't have the money with me. And I said, well, I don't have my Square with me, otherwise I could just run a credit card. He said, can I send you a check? I said, sure. I just realized as I'm doing this, that check has not come in. Now, if he needs the book that bad, then I guess he needs the book back that bad. But he might have just forgotten about it too. Here's the point. If I had had the Square in my pocket, I certainly had my phone on my hip, I would have run the transaction right then and there. We would all been better off for it. We wouldn't have had to thought about it or chase it or do anything like that. Now, one of the other critical areas to consider are your support systems. I use a program. In fact, this is being delivered over this system. You can check it out at videopromotionsnow.com. But it has both an e-market engine, and then there are apps available. So you can create small business apps. I will ultimately, over the next few months, have a small business app for my training process. That means that people can get more information, they can contact me, they could get coupons, a variety of different things that are all available through apps these days are available through this custom app for small business called TouchPro. Now, the e-market engine is phenomenal. You can do video email, webinars, webcast, mobile marketing, email marketing, lead capture, social media, all in one system. And so I'm going to show you some of these. And again, it's an amazing system. And if you ever have any questions on this, please feel free to contact me at scott@scottschilling.com, and we'll go through this personally. It's an amazing system. It tremendous capabilities to it, and it is cutting-edge technology. Now, when you open it up and look at Office Pro does everything from keep your contacts to your email list to your calendars to your tasks at hand. The Power Tool section is a letter library, so you can create letters that you can merge and use over and over again. Autoresponder systems, so that you can get information put into a sequence. You start the autoresponder, you can tell it drop a letter today, another one in 7 days, another one in 14 days, and so on and so on. And you can create these series to make sure that you're constantly touching your customers or delivering information. Quite frankly, you can also deliver training. You can do many, many different things. There's a video email component. Now, I'm going to get into that here in a second, why I love video email. There's regular email. There's so many different things available in this platform. Quite frankly, I could sit and talk about this platform and train you on this for a long, long time. Here's the bottom line. It's an all-in-one service. I used to have a contact management system that cost X number of dollars a month. I used to use GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar, which cost Y number a month. I used to have a database system, which used to... All of that is in one system here. The beauty is, instead of paying 3 different people 3 to 4 times the amount, by the way, it's all captured in one location for about a quarter of the amount. That's the exciting part about it. And again, would love to talk to you about this in greater detail. Now, here's an example of 2 different video email templates. The one on the left shows you from the desk of Scott Schilling, business growth strategist. My little picture in the corner. You could tap right on that free sales course, and it would put you into queue to download that. Obviously, you tap the arrow there, and you would actually hear the email. The email was a voicemail, and it is a talking voicemail. It's me. It's pictures. Down below, you see hot links to my website, to my Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and of course the eMarket engine system. And then I chose to put Zig Ziglar's quote, which you're seeing a lot of in this training program, but it proliferates everything I do. Now, what I did is I just recently created a new template, changed the header on it. That's the beauty of these. You can customize them, create them however you want. And you now see it says, now available, click here. Well, that will take you straight into the ability to buy my book. Now, I don't necessarily talk to everybody about buying my book every time, but either I offer a free product or I have an availability to a featured product in these. And what tends to happen is people see it and they tend to respond to it and buy the book or take the action or get the free sales course or whatever the offer might be at that time. That's done purposely to, again, offer people things from time to time. Many times it's for free. Sometimes there is a cost associated with it. In either case, it's done in a very soft sell, very subtle way. Again, it's not pounding somebody over the head saying, hey, you have to buy this. That's not what it's about. If you want to look into it, look into it. Just keep on putting things out in the environment, and when you do that, good things will happen. Now, remember I said that I choose to use video email as opposed to email. Let me tell you why. We have gone from snail mail, which is the United States Postal Service. We used to write letters. We used to communicate through the written word. But before we would ever get the written word would ever get to us, because we knew it was going to take forever, we would call the person in advance. We would tell them that a letter is coming. We would tell them what was in the letter. They could hear our tone. They could hear our enthusiasm about that letter. And then what would happen is when the letter arrived, they kind of knew your tone, so they read the letter the way you intended it. Makes all the sense in the world. Remember, 7% of the communication is the words, 38% the tonality, 55% the physiology. Well, then we've moved into this stale mail society, which is email. And basically, as I said in the communicate with confidence message, people tend to add their tone to your words. You can have the best words in the world, but if somebody has had a bad day or is upset about something, your great words can turn into a very sarcastic or bad message. You didn't mean it that way. They put their tone to it and turned it that way. And again, we're now in this cryptic, heck, we don't even use complete sentences. Now we're texting and just using letters. Well, any and all of this has shortened our communication to such a point where we're just not really communicating very well. And then what has come out is what I call sale mail. And the reason it's sale mail is because they can see everything about you. They can hear your words, that's 7%. They can hear your inflection, that's another 38%. And they can see your smiling face and your demeanor and everything about it, the 55% that's physiology. In other words, we don't just depend on the 7% of the message getting through anymore. By using video email, we now have a very positive way of communicating with the field. If we're looking to gain efficiency, the one thing we don't need is to backtrack on the intention behind words in an email. If you hear me talk about this, you know my intention. You hear the inflection. You see the physiology. You see my smiling face. What it does is it gains efficiency because the message gets through in a shorter period of time. So again, I love it. There's a number of systems out there. The reason I use this one is because this one gets through to every medium. It gets for everything from Android phones to smartphones to iPhones. It's all deliverable through this system. Some of the systems out there, in fact, I don't know of any other system that's deliverable on an iPhone other than this one. And there's obviously a lot of iPhones out there. So that's a great benefit. Again, support system. This lesson is coming on this same video platform. Lessons on Demand is now made possible and can be delivered around the world, and you can watch this at your convenience because of this exact same platform. So again, there's so many different things you can do. If you would like to expand your reach outside your local hometown, but you don't want to move, guess what? You can now do it without having to get on an airplane. One of the other great things that I love about this, I was very blessed to speak 1,500 times over about a 5.5-year period. But in order to do that, what I had to do is get on an airplane on Sunday, and I didn't get home until Friday, and I spoke on average 8 times a week. Now, that's awesome, but in essence, for 5.5 years of my life, I had a 1 to 1.5 day a week life. Everything else was on the road speaking. Now, I love speaking. I love training. I love helping other people. But now I can sit in the comfort of my own office. I can record trainings like this. I can have the reach and help people the way I desire it. I can serve them the way they desire it. And guess what? We're both happy. I get to sit in my hometown and go to the doggy park with my wife and Willie and just have fun. And you get the lessons that you're looking for. That's the beauty of having these kinds of tools available to you. Now, one other critical area to consider is some types of consistent touch program. Again, I use the video email for that. I use the autoresponders in those systems for that to make sure. But one of the other ones that I use is you can find at referralsbuildbusiness.com. And what you're seeing is the opening video if you were to go to that website, and that video will actually walk you through everything. For $10 a month, you can now be in a situation where you can automate thank you cards, birthday cards, thousands of different cards. And what you see there, holiday cards. I sent out, for one of my clients, we sent out 2,500 holiday cards in about 8 minutes. Talk about automating yourself and making it better. Now, the beauty of this program, you can also do it in your own handwriting. That's right. You can produce a card. You can use your own handwriting to it. You can have it printed, stuffed in an envelope, stamped, taken to the post office, delivered for you, all for about maybe $1.25, $1.50 a card. Costs you about $10 a month to have that service available to you, and you get some credit for that. So you're looking for about $1.50 a card that now you can send birthday cards, anniversary cards in a totally automated system. Once you put in the contact information, say when the birthday is, create the campaign to send that birthday card, boom, boom, boom. It all gets sent out automatically. What's nice about that? It's really simple. It's about gratitude. It's about being thankful. It's about appreciating people. What you're seeing there is 3 different cards that I've sent out over time. The first one in the middle there is obviously a holiday card. So it's talking about laughter and friendship and kindness and hope and all those other kind of wonderful things. And so I sent that out to the database that I had in there. And again, it just takes a matter of minutes to send out hundreds, if not thousands, of cards. The one with the iceberg, we actually used as a campaign for a chiropractic office that I was consulting. And basically, the picture is of the iceberg out front. And when you open it up, it says, your symptoms are just the tip of the iceberg. What could really be happening? Why don't you come in and we'll talk about it? And so we use this as a chiropractic recruitment card. Again, just to kind of tell people and give them some education. We actually created a series of about 12 different chiropractic educational cards. And what we do with that doc is once a month, he would send out a card to the customer base, to his patient base, just to keep them informed and to educate them. Again, it's that constant little touch. Now, one of the most fun cards that I ever produced, that's my daughter Jordan, when she was a senior in high school, just about to smoke a volleyball over the net. Well, we actually created that card, put that on the front, and we took 68 schools. She wanted to play college volleyball. So we actually did an outbound campaign with that picture on the front and basically sent out some information and said, if you're looking for a hardworking athlete that's going to represent your school well, play well for you, and be a great ambassador, Jordan Schilling is one you might consider. That was on the left side of the card. On the other side of the card then gave her stats, how many blocks she had, how many kills, all those different things, her height, her jumping ability, all those different things. What was really interesting about that is we went outbound. Now, the good news is my daughter ended up playing college volleyball on scholarship. So you understand how innovative you can get with these things. Not only can you use them in business, you can use them to support your charities, your causes, a variety of different things. Again, if you ever have any questions on how to use something like this, please feel free to contact me at scott@scottschilling.com. I'll walk you through it. It's really a lot of fun. This is where the creativity comes in from that side. Now, one more resource as far as touch programs, and I shared it in a different lesson, but I'm going to show you 3 different things that I had produced by the same location, and that's my business card. I produced a card for my book, so as opposed to a business card, well, it's a business card size, but it's the cover of the book, and it shows the website where to get the book and things like that. The ISBN and the information on the book is on the other side. Similarly, there's a QR code on the back of my business card, which takes you straight to the websites and into that information. And then the other you see is a 4x6 fully glossed UV-coated card that we used as I introduced a product at a convention out in Las Vegas. Now, just to let you know, both my business card and my book card, those cost for 2-sided, UV-coated, beautiful, 4-color, glossy, fabulous cards, $35 a thousand. I mean, that's nothing. Now, this 90-second success tips card, we actually printed 5,000 of those cards. We stuffed them into the welcome packet for everybody coming to this convention. So everybody had an impression of my product offering that was at the convention, my booth. There was a special price, a special thing, if they came and acted on it right then and there. That's a 4x6, 4-color, UV-coated both sides. 5,000 pieces was $150. If you think about making 5,000 impressions for $150, pretty darn cost effective. Now that's idbprintlab.com. idbprintlab.com. Great folks. They turn things around very quickly. They're very professional. And not only do they have this material, they can do fact sheets for you. They can do a variety of different things. Again, these are consistent touch programs. Hopefully you understand that there are other suppliers of all this information. There are multiple choices. These happen to be the choices I use. The reason I use them is because they're dependable. They've got good pricing. They support me well. And I would recommend them to you because I believe they would do the same thing for you. It's all about gaining efficiency in this society. We've got to hurry up and wait too often. So how can we make better use of our time? These are some of the essential tools to help you attract and retain the customers you have. And as always, if you need more information on any of this or anything else, please visit www.scottschilling.com. If you have any questions along the way, drop me an email at scott@scottschilling.com. It's always an honor to work with you, share this information with you, and do what I can do to help you grow your business to the levels that you want to. This is Scott Schilling saying until next time, I'm so excited for the path you're on and everything that's going well in your world. I'm just proud to be part of it, whatever little part of it I am, to help you get to where you truly want to be. Take care until next time.